So this is our first task this week. I actually tried to analyze other use of Microsoft Word. I will be asking you to prepare instead of just encoding. I even ask some of my colleagues, and we are not yet sure about other options aside from what Ma'am Shing and Sir Edward also told me about the mail and merge. The mail and merge process is where you create a template for mail, and then you're just going to just by one format and just by an list of email address, you can actually send it to many. But I look into perspective that since our course is mathematics learning or mathematics, I tried to analyze what should be the best way to introduce a maximization of the MS Word in our course. And then we decided that at the end of the day, we're going to still proceed with the encoding process, but we are going to focus more on the creation of a test item. I would decided this because we have noticed that for a period of time already, our student teachers who are coming in here in CMU Laboratory High School, to which you will be, hopefully, next year. There are still some who struggles with creation of test items specific. Okay. I would like to emphasize, I'm not here to teach you how to create a test item. That's the task of your assessment classes. I'm here to uh, let you browse more or revisit this feature in MS Word where we could create our test item properly. And I'm talking about the construction of equations. The construction of equations, because when we make equations, it's very important that we students could distinguish a text into a equation form. Because when the students will be reading an item, need to understand that, okay, when I read this x, this means I'm going to solve for a value of x. Or when I'm going to solve for a value of a, it's in a form of an equation, not a text. Uh, uh, Demonstrate an example of that later. But here is your first task. There are three of you in a group. The first task, sir, sabi kasi sa amin, sir, we only have to create one task per week. Yes, sabi din po sa akin yan ni Sir Elrich and other college teachers that there should only be one task per week. Here's the thing. As I mentioned, there are three of you in a group. So there will be three tasks per week this week. Three tasks per week. By the way, exemption for the green group ng upat sila. But anyway, patons nato. So there are three tasks for this week. And each of you in a group, ako mag-decide. Inside mag-task 1, mag-task 2, and mag-task 3. And this will be, there will be different rubric per task and a rubric for the three outputs. So, isa pa rin yung gagawin ninyo per week, pero you are going to decide ano ang gagawin ko. Ako ba sa Word? Ako ba sa Excel? Ako ba sa PowerPoint? I'm going to lay down the complete instructions after Thursday kasi Thursday pa natin usapan yung what we call it PowerPoint. So it's already 7:22. Let us proceed now to the proper demonstration. Again, your task here, I'm requesting everyone to please take a screenshot of this. Okay. I'm going to take also a screenshot in my phone. This is their first task. Your task to create a 10-item multiple choice test with 4 choices A, B, C, D, and a 5-item problem solving test. Okay? So, what are these items, sir? Saan naman buhaton? Kato bang assign niya sa group na competency sa final midterm, sa mga buhaton siya. I'm going to give you also the detailed instruction later. Let's proceed to our demo. So we look, this is our MS Word. You can open any file that you have there. Let's focus on the demonstration process. Here, again, there are many menus. Right? There are many tasks here. But since our course is mathematics learning, I decided to focus on the use of the MS Word, which is actually very relevant to us. And that's actually in making an equation. My point earlier of making the emphasizing is this one. There are some items that our student teachers, and probably some of you will be doing next year. Ito yung ginagawa lang. Sorry. Let me change the... Ito yung ginagawa lang. Let A be equal 0. So, na. What is the result for A squared plus 3 plus 4? Example, that's a possible question. Now, here's the thing. If we're going to look at it that way, there are some problematic issues such as this one. Some students may not understand the caret. And I'm also emphasizing this one here. Some of the students, especially for those who doesn't like math too much, they were just going to think of this as a variable. I mean, a part of the sentence nga that A nga kanang part of sentence siya nga A, dili siya variable. That's why when I received an item exam, ako mga division coordinator sa math, I don't know if I will still be next year, but if I will be, once I receive an exam like this, my comment to the student teachers is, please make this an equation form. Some of them will be asking, sir, some say equation form, sir. It's an equation form wherein this will look like a variable, not just a part of a sentence. So some of them will just make it italicized, whatnot, or changing a font to a different font where it will look like probably this one or other fonts. Parang ganun. Right? But we could create a process here where we could make it a form of an equation. By the way, again, I believe that some of you are familiar with this, but let's just look at it again, revisit, right? Para at least ma-familiarize po tayo. So we have here an equation menu. These are the processes of our task. This I do hope that this part of the demo will end at 7 okay, exactly 8 o'clock. We can also proceed with MS Excel. So in our insert menu button here, this is actually my MS Word is actually I mean my MS Office is MS Microsoft 365. You register it, we pay an amount for it. But don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to pay for Microsoft 365. In other Microsoft Offices, even the older versions, nalagyan ng equation. There is an equation. But it can be found insert an equation here. So I'm just going to highlight this letter A here and simply click equation and look at what will happen to letter A. It will form a variable. If you would like 0, you could also go to insert and click this equation here in this one. Anong kinakalan mo po niya? So, sir, naklaro mo po siya nga 0. Precisely, it's a constant. You can also even highlight these items here. And again, go to insert and go to equation. So they are now looking like an equation. However, we still have this concern here. That's why we're going to proceed to the different parts of the equation menu, even the illustrations menu. Why do I have here illustrations menu? Because this is this is where I also would like you to prepare the problem solving test items na yung pinagagawa ko kanina. So let's move to the equation menu. So let me remove this. Remove na siya. So the first part is in presenting the equation menu. I'm going to always click insert and click equation. And if your fill in, I forgot the correct name for uh this line here where you could fill in items. If you're going to click the equation menu, it will create an equation uh, box here where you could type the different symbols or pick symbols and different structures. Right? So that is where you're going to make now your symbol X, Y. So when you're going to look at this one plus Z as compared to this example X, Y plus Z. So as you can see, this is more kanang formal to see in a setting of our exams in Microsoft Word since it's already in equation form. Other than this. Now, if you don't like going to insert equation again, or going to have another set of equation here, insert equation, and insert equation, and so next na po tayo, insert equation. You can always use a shortcut, and the shortcut is this. The shortcut is actually half plus. You click out and then you click the plus sign near the backspace of your computer. So I'm going to do it here. I'm going to click out. I'm going to click plus. It's already insert equation. So instead of just going there and there, kapuyan mo, this is where you can add actually equations and other one. By the way, there are also ready-made equations here. If you would like to, you may click this drag and drop button here. You have the ready-made equations here, but not all of them are given. That's why you can always insert an equation as long as you want. Then you can just simply click. Let me delete this one. You have 5 and plus. And that's where you're going to have your equation uh, uh, dialog box. Or it will have already your material or your algebraic form, let's say mn plus 2, highlight it, and again, add plus. Automatically, it will become an equation. So similarly, if you have two, let's say one half, uh, C, R plus. So it will become an equation now. But this equation, this one half, is not necessarily kanang, what do you call it? This may still be confusing for some students. This form of one half. That is why we have here these structures here. Okay, in number 3. Let us. I'm going to have a short demo on our structures later, but let's proceed to the symbols first. The symbols could be seen if we're going to click this symbol here, if you would like to. You can click this more symbols, and you will see here a dialog box where many symbols can be found, even the Arabic symbols, even other forms of symbols here. If you would like to focus on mathematics, a symbol alone, again, add plus. Once this dialog box will come into life, you will see an equation menu popping out here. Yeah, equation, Grammarly lang. By the way, I installed Grammarly so we don't need to worry ng wala Grammarly na. So again, out plus, and an equation menu button will come. And then you will have here the symbols. So these symbols are very unique in mathematics, very important in as we input some equation format in our exams. And by the way, this is also true even in Excel and PowerPoint. This equation format is still also there. And we just use it most of the time in MS Word. So we have here this symbol plus minus, we have infinity and equal, inequality, and other forms. We have here the similarity or approximate. We have here the union, the intersection, the empty set. We have here the change, the element, the what symbol is this? Here's for all. This button here at the bottom, you would see all the symbols in basic math. Right? These are all basic math, right? But you also have another button here where if you're going to click this, there are many sets of symbols that you could actually browse here. So when you go to Greek letters, as we also use them, such as sigma, summation notation, we also use draw in correct in reliability. We also use other forms of them, alpha in our statistics analysis. And you're going to click that one. You have here the lower cases, alpha, beta, and the upper cases, alpha, beta. And we're going to browse another set here, letter-like symbols. In here, you would see again the for all and the symbols for the real numbers, the integers, the rational numbers, natural numbers, the counting. Natural numbers are counting pala, sorry. Right? So we have the symbols here. We can always use. Another one, operators, yung mga plus, greater than, sets. We have also another here, operators for your calculus, other forms of operators that you may use. I'm not, I'm not using most all of them. I'm just sharing this to you so that you could actually use them as you need in on your exams later. Arrows, okay. We also have here negated relations, the not equal, the not less than, the not greater than the rest. You also have here the scripts and for geometry, specifically the perpendicular, right angle rather, the plane and perpendicular. Acute angle or angle, we have here this, triangle, perpendicularity, parallelism, etc., etc. So we have these symbols here. Say, for example, I have here the union of A and B. So we have the A, and the union, I'm going to go to basic math. So this union, we're just going to click this one. That's union. Do not use U. Ay, malibog mga bata. Union, not also use that one. So union, and we have here B. That's A, union B. You could also use here geometrical one. So Alt F4 again. Go to angle. Lamang yung angle at basic man. I'm going to go to geometry. So you have here angle. Let's say angle M or angle E is equal to 80 degrees, or let's say measurement. The measurement of angle P is equal to 80 degrees. You have here the symbol for the degrees. Go back to the basic math. You have here the symbol degrees. Instead of just writing M and then you draw a insert din ka og angle niya, side insert. Kanina mo gamitin ng angulo. O ba niya, some teachers, you're going to use the less than. Okay, because lang familiar sa equation. And we have P equal to 80. Doon, superscript ka. Superscript ka og O. Na ginabuhat before. Well, again, that's what we are using before. That's what we are doing before. In inputting this equation. So the measurement of angle, again, you use the less than P is equal to 80. And this below here is actually an O, but it's superscript. Problema na, kung makalimot ka, mag-type mo ka later on, what is, the sumpa is superscript. So instead of doing that, you could always use the equation here. And by the way, also some shortcuts to these symbols. Let me again out plus. I also type these two equations here without even using or clicking the symbols here. I am going to redo the A of the union of A and B. So you have A, So instead of clicking the union here, you would see that as you browse your mouse on that symbol, you would see the name beside the symbol, notation beside union. Actually, close open parenthesis, the forward slash cup. That's actually the shortcut for the union. If you don't like clicking this, you can also encode in the Unicode. This is Unicode. Supposedly, my latex din tayo na demonstration, but I'm not going to discuss it. Just focus lang sa Unicode kasi ang important is you could maximize your exams using this. So again, when you browse like this one, na I slash forward slash cat. So instead of clicking that, if I'm going to type it here forward slash cup, CUP, and press space bar. When I press space bar, that automatically changes to the symbol union. Again, I'm going to change it forward slash CUP, cup, space bar, and automatically union. And then you have here these shortcuts, by the way, are for those teachers like you who are more to fast writing. Mas fast kasi mag-click sila of mouse. You can do that actually. If you're to change it to intersection, na po yung shortcut ng intersection. As you can see, union is cup with U, intersection is cup with A. So, you would like intersection, let's say naisumpay diha, so forward slash tap space bar. You will have an intersection symbol when you have here. As for the next here, you have the angle. There's also a shortcut for an angle. So let's again do it Alt plus, go to geometry. Instead of clicking this, you would see as a shortcut there, slash angle, right? So instead of clicking that, you could type here M, the measurement, forward slash angle, space. That automatically changes to its symbol. And you have P equal to 80. The degrees symbol could also be, again, used by, it can also be added by clicking the symbol here. But it also has a shortcut, forward slash degree and spacebar around. It's already there. Okay? So those are actually some shortcuts of symbols. You could also have shortcuts of others. Alt plus, forward slash, infinity. That's for infinity, spacebar, infinity. Another for not equality, not equal, neck. Not equal, neck. NE or NEQ, spacebar. You also have the shortcut. And all for all other symbols here. Yung mga not not for all pala, for most. Sa uban wala may shortcut. Okay, increment if you would like that, forward slash increment, sorry, plus na to, forward slash increment, forward slash deg Fahrenheit, F deg Fahrenheit, forward slash what else? Partial, var. But you need to be familiarized with this before you can do that as fast as you can. So this is for the symbols in creating equation. So when you going to come up with your 10-item test, multiple choice items, you need to come up with this. Because we're going to let you record it. Record po kayo, nagagawa kayo ng 10 items exam. Record po kayo, and then you're going to post it in your YouTube channel as shared to you. Hindi na itong buhaton for the rest of our presentation sa final term. Hindi ta makakaunod wala sa atong klase. Now, these are just for symbols. For structures, these are actually part of the equation menu wherein you could create different forms of ng mathematical expressions. Here, I made mention that if you have one half, just like that, you could always change it into an equation by highlighting it. Sa ganito ang i-click again, alt plus. That's already an equation form. But this form of one half may be too confusing, especially if mag-combine natin na there will be a combination already of all that one. And expressions. May one half, may one third, complete ka lang siya. So instead of doing that, I'm going to suggest you go again to alt plus, insert alt plus is insert equation again. Okay, don't forget that one. Alt plus is insert equation, and you would see here in structures that you could create different forms of expressions. Number one is a fraction. When you put that, you may see here different forms of how fractions are presented. So I would like to use this because this is not confusing the students. I'm going to click that one here. I'm just going to fill in this portion here for my fraction. So my one half, this would be 1, and this would be 2. That's how we insert fraction. If you would like to have another fraction wherein the numerator or denominator is not monomial, in short, binomial or trinomial, again, you could click fraction, have this, and let's say the numerator is x plus 1, and the denominator is, say, for example, x minus y minus z. So instead of just clicking x plus 1, ngayon, divide x minus y minus z, to which, again, some of the student teachers, not just this school year, but before, hilig sila magbuhat ng mga formats of exams, okay siya for the students. So instead of doing this, you can simply make an equation for the fraction. Aside from that fraction, plus ulit, you also have here the scripts for your subscripts, kanang inyong mga y sub 1, x sub 1, or more importantly, exponentiation, x squared. Instead of using x caret, that's the name of that is caret 2. Right? Instead of having that, x squared lang itself. If you also have atong mga distance formula, y sub 1 or y sub tan. Ano siyang y sub tan? Y under subscript tan. So y sub tan. Eh, muna ang joke sa mga students before, y sub tan. So, ibuhat na lang na to na siya equation, y sub tan. Or if you would like a binomial raised into an exponent, also insert this one and use here, so for example, x minus 4, close parenthesis, you have here squared. And this is for the exponentiation. So we have here for monomial, you also have here the monomial subscript. You can also have binomial or the rest. Just make sure that if you're going to come up with that, dapat may parenthesis ha. And kung wala parenthesis, ang 4 lang is the square na. Structure in our insert equation. Sorry for if I'm going a little bit fast. I propose to end this at exactly 8 o'clock. So we still have 8 to 8:30 for our what we call that Excel. So maximize the use of MS Excel. So I'm going to click this equation on, alt plus again, plus, shortcut. Another form of a structure here is radical. May mga square roots. Okay? Kasi, if you're going to use this square symbol here, this is different. This is how it will look like. Square root, kaning symbol ha, square root of x plus 1. If you look at this one, supposedly you would like the x plus 1, the binomial x plus 1, inside there as the radical rather. So some of the teachers will just simply use this one, so plus one. Ganun. Para masunod din siya as a radical. We can still do that if you would like to. But there are, again, some issues, just like what I did earlier. I would like it to be the radical to be x plus 1. I use here square root and then x plus 1. This is now different because the addition of 1 is actually placed outside and it did not achieve what I intend to. So instead of clicking the symbol here for square root, you may use here the radical. Right? Because here, you could also change the index. So if you have here, so that one, and type here x plus 1, you can have that. But if you would like cube root plus, change it here. You may have cube root, but you can also use this. You have here cube root of x plus 1. Okay? That's for the radical. By the way, I forgot to extend an example here for a fraction. So if you have rational fraction, katulong rational nga, ang denominator is still a fraction, then nala pa yung fraction. Okay? So it will look like this, especially for grade 8. This is the struggle for grade 8 teachers soon. So I'm going to add here out plus. So say for example, fraction here. So we have 1 over x plus another fraction. You could click another fraction here. 1 over x. Gusto na become himog fraction. Plus, fraction na po siya. 1 over x. Etc. etc. You could do that. I was reminded because you could also do it here for radicals. Plus, you have here a radical expression. Square root of 2, say for example, but your radical has a radical as well. So you also need to input here. Ang susunod, 3. Dito na lang po may gusto na cube root sa sunod. 3, 4. You could lump your equations instead of just writing yung usual square root of 2, square root again of 3, etc., etc. So you will have a better form if we're going to use the structure there. Okay. Aside from the structure for radical, here comes those who will be teaching calculus later on, integral. You have double integral, multiple integral. Okay. So you could have it here, integral of x. If you would like it to be an exponent, you could lump here again, exponent. You have x squared minus x plus 5, integral of that from 0 to 9. Example like that. You could use that for the structure of the integral. Another structure that I could also share it to you here is for the summation notation. You could use this summation notation, but we are more into this. And the summation, the formula for mean of the group data, summation of fx over n. Okay. Ano to called fraction. Ano to ma'am Psych? Fx over n. Data for mean, fx over n. Ano? Summation of fx over n. Okay. So you can start here where n starts to 1 or 0 or 1 to 5. You can also have that for your summation notation. You browse these structures in your own, because you're going to be making task items. And I'm going to provide you with the topic para parihat na lang dili ko mag-listen check. Is for the bracket. You could have here the parentheses that you could use for your coordinates 0, 1. You also have here the bracket for the interval notation. We have negative forward slash infinity 3. Wait a minute. But I may be incorrect here. Hindi ko siya bracket din ang infinity. The bracket and infinity. So I'm just going to use negative 9. And then 3 for your interval notation. And of course, for grade 7 topic, sets. The roster form, it contains the set of math teachers in CMULHS. So you have here Edward, you have here Saiti, and the others. Now that is for the roster form. And if you don't like roster form, you would like set builder form, plus search set builder form. Types of sets na siya. We also have here with separators, where set of X such that X is someone I don't want to be with. Ito, X is a whole number from 1 to 10. That's for making of set notations. Ako ng unas dito. Pasensya. You also have for your trigonometric functions, inverse functions. So you have sine 60, sine 90. If you don't like sine, if you don't know the value, you could also insert theta, or some others will do it theta. Let me see if there is a shortcut for theta. There is. Yan. Forward slash theta. Or again, some others will read it as theta. Sine theta. Okay? You can also insert such trigonometric functions. The accent here is for may mga nasa accent niya. Right? That's why it's called accent, such as line segment AB. If you don't like line segment AB, the symbol for the mean of a data, we have the X bar. Okay? The symbol for the median, X tilde. If you don't like X tilde, you could also have here the congruence. Congruence equals, I believe na po shortcuts sa congruence. Well, not po shortcuts sa congruence. Let me see. Forward slash cong. Yan, forward slash congruence. Ako na. So, other accents here like P hat, so mga symbols at as set. The limits are also here. In the algorithms, also input here limits. So, as the input limit, the limit of 1 over x, x approaches. Take note, if we use approaches, we're going to use arrow. We're going to have the arrow here, this one. Okay? But there is also a shortcut for this, that like this one. So you have, use a shortcut, forward slash 2, as x approaches to 0. Other structure is for operator and matrices, but basically di natin masyadong ginagamit ito when we talk about junior high school now, but they are just there for you to use. So these are some of the structures that you could use as you make your equation. Again, very important, especially in our class, our test item. Even if number lang siya ng option, let's say A is equal to 2, B is 3, pwedeng himo ko ng equation format ng 2 ang 3 so that it will look like a mathematical expression. Do not just simply say A, 2, Dayon, B, 3. Now po, you highlight that one, alt plus, so it will look like an expression. Even if it's just constant, even better with expressions, let's say C, not just simply place here X plus 2. It should be highlighted alt plus, so it will become an equation. You're still there, teachers? Sige. May I just ask, familiar na mo aning equation or talon pa? Hello. Okay. So thank you. At least, mas maayo mo ganun familiar mo daan, especially that as you will become teachers later on, hindi na kayo sa lisod baliton. Pero kung mga naging time or i-browse na natin, i-refresh atong understanding. Well, I need to go to illustrations menu because as the task I gave you, you're going to create 10 test item questions and 5 problem solving questions. In these problem solving questions, there would be no choices, but there are still some parts that I need you to make it as a form of an equation. Say, for example, given that x is equal to 5 kilometers, so by the way, kanong kilometers diyan, ato po ng equation diyan, kilometers ha. Say, for example, 5 kilometers, ato po ng equation gapon para it will form as an expression. But there are some problem-solving items that you could make using the illustrations menu. Where do you locate it? Insert. Here are the illustrations. You can insert here shapes if you would like. Okay. There are some shapes here. Okay. We also have smart arts, process, list. This may not just be for exams. These are also possible in making materials. Learning materials na to, itong mga motivational activities you have here is you could use this as part of your preparation. But I doubt kulang naman itong time, so I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to proceed immediately to the charts because you could always create here pie chart and you let the students interpret. Say, for example, this is the pie chart, and then you will have what we call that one. Once you insert that one, you can always change here some data. May mangyayaring there is already a linked Microsoft Excel. So if we're going to change this data into 10, change this to 15, automatically mag-change po ay yung mga graph natin. Right? Okay, just like that one. Right? So you could use this as part of your grade 7 activity where you let the students say, for example, if this is the distribution of the allowance. So if you will just say that when you just simply give percentage. Let's say this is 50%, say 50%, yeah, 30%, 5%, and the remaining 15%. And your question is, if the total allowance of this person or student is 500 per week, how much is spent on food if food is the color blue, etc., etc. You can always insert those charts and shapes. So I'm just going to leave this to you as for your browsing activity since I have you can always also change the format for that. You could locate this again and insert and shapes. Why do I go back again to shapes, sir? Because you could always create here, especially for geometry. Yeah, here the right triangle, and you could always insert text box, shapes, text box. And you could say that this is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, it's up to you. Then you can always one, change the font style if you would like to, etc. etc. So this is how you're going to make also your what we call this problem solving activities. Kasi dito sa atin sa CMU Laboratory High School po, nagawa talaga kayo ng computer problem solving activities. Just like this. So you could I'm going to save this one. Go back to my presentation. So here is your task number 1. Please screenshot for this. One of you in your group will be tasked to do this, and the others will be focusing on Excel and on PowerPoint presentation.